Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm finally bringing you guys another true crime video. Today's true crime is a little bit different. It's pretty disturbing, so a little bit of a disclaimer. This video contains adult content, and if you are sensitive, please click off this video or watch it on mute because I want you guys to take care of yourself and I love you guys. So yeah. For today, I made another PIZOOKIE, and the ice cream is melting, but that is okay. This PIZOOKIE is just my ordinary PIZOOKIE, but I put chocolate on the inside and then Vego spread on top, which is basically like vegan Nutella. It's delicious. And then I have some Breyers non-dairy oat milk vanilla ice cream on top. And then today is actually National Hamburger Day. So I made a burger casserole and I'm so excited. I've made this before on my channel. It's kind of like a mixture of cheeseburger casserole and goulash. I'll link the recipe that I followed down below. I just did a little bit of my own tweaks and alterations on it, but other than that, it's pretty much the same as the recipe. And yeah, I'm just so excited. Let's dig into the food first before I start on the true crime though, because I'm hungry. Dessert first. You guys, I'm so excited for this. Oh my gosh. They look so good. I'm so you got. Can I English? I'm sorry, you guys. This is just so good. I'm gonna take just a moment to myself for a little bit. Crispy on the outside, gooey on the inside, super chocolatey, but it's not too chocolatey. The hazelnut spread on top is the perfect balance. This is just water. I wish the ice cream wasn't melting so fast. But it is really hot here, so it makes sense. Alright, I'm going to jump into today's conspiracy. Have you ever been to a wax museum or seen a mannequin that just seemed way too real for comfort? Have you ever mused the possibility that it might just be a real person, one who is fictitiously skilled at holding still or acting as if they were a prop? Well, in the year 1976, this instance became all too real. Pun intended. Only in this case, it wasn't necessarily super difficult to stay still, considering the fact that it was a mummified corpse. So there's this place called the House of Horrors in Long Beach, California. And in the year 1976, there was a film crew filming. I'm not exactly sure what it was. I don't know if it was like a documentary or if it was like a short horror film. Not exactly sure, but they were going through this ride, the House of Horrors, and this ride is one of those rides that has things that jump out at you. It has wax mannequins, demons, just things like that. This crew is, like I said, going through just to ensure that everything is in pristine condition. And they're going through the ride, things are jumping out at them, it's all going pretty well, and they make it to the end, and there's this final attraction. It's a wax mannequin hanging from a noose. They didn't really like this aspect of the ride, so one of the crew members grabs the arm and goes to tug it down, but the arm comes off. And then they all start laughing because they all thought it was funny, and then they realize that this arm has a bone. This was a real body. The crew ends up calling the LA coroner, and the coroner examines the body, and this body, mind you, is pretty ancient. But it gets weirder. In the mouth of this mannequin was a penny dated 1924. This penny was old and corroded, and you could tell that it was from the year 1924. The body was riddled with gunshot wounds, and they discovered these gunshot wounds to be over 70 years old. And the most ironic part of it all is that in the pocket of the shirt on the corpse was a ticket stub to a wax museum. They soon discovered that this was a man by the name of Elmer McCurdy. Elmer McCurdy was born in 1880 in rural Maine, and his mom was 17 years old when she gave birth to him. He was raised by his uncle and never knew his mom until he was older, and he unfortunately grew up to be an alcoholic. He frequently got arrested, and this was mainly due to his public drunkenness. However, in the year 1907, at the age of 27, he enlisted in the army, where he actually was doing okay. 3 years later, he was honorably discharged, and while in the army, Elmer actually learned how to use nitroglycerin, and unfortunately, he utilized the skill to rob. But he did have pretty terrible luck when it came to attempting robbery. For example, one of the instances, the safe that had all the money blew up. Another instance, he couldn't get his explosives to work, so he ended up running away with just coins. And in another instance, he was supposedly going to rob a train that had $400,000. However, he stopped the wrong train, in the which he only got $46, some whiskey, and the conductor's comb. Yeah, not much luck with that. That's why you don't do bad things, because karma. I already forgot how good this is. So Elmer McCurdy did not have much luck, so he was very upset and just went back to drinking. He was stowed away in this hay shed, and eventually some police had found him, and he wasn't going to give up so quickly. So he started shooting, and they shot back. And after an hour, the shooting had stopped. An hour, and Elmer was dead. Now, no one came to claim his body, no friends or family, and so he was embalmed. But in this case, they embalmed him in a way that preserved his body for much longer than typical. And this was just in case someone ended up coming to claim his body in the future. Now, I don't know what was going through the embalmer's mind, but he literally said, quote, "Okay, this is fine work, let me show it off." So he proceeds to put Elmer's body in the lobby, and you could come see this body if you paid with a small coin, and in order to pay, you would put this coin in the mouth of the body. Hence, the coin that was found in Elmer's mouth. I don't understand if it couldn't get any worse. Two men end up calling this office, and they claim to be Elmer's long-lost brothers, and they are going to reclaim his body and show him some respect. And this is how Elmer was able to travel the country in a traveling museum of crime. In 1933, Elmer's body was then sold to a filmmaker who used his body as a prop, and then his body is eventually stored in a warehouse for 20 years. It then ends up making random appearances in short horror films. Elmer's body is then purchased by the Hollywood Wax Museum. However, while at this museum, it was caught in a windstorm where he then loses, or I guess the corpse loses its ears, fingers, and toes and becomes an attraction to disfigured to exhibit. I'm sorry guys, I messed up. The ride is not called the House of Horrors, it's called Laugh in the Dark. At this point in time, this is when the operator of that ride ended up purchasing Elmer's body. And before I continue, I just so badly want to try this. It smells so good, it looks so good, and I've been craving pastas recently, especially like a hearty pasta, and this cheeseburger casserole or goulash, whatever you want to call it, has macaroni noodles in it, and so I'm so excited. It's still so warm too. It's not still so warm. It's still so hot. It's so good though. So after Elmer's body was purchased by the operator of Laugh in the Dark, this is where our story comes full circle. And his body was discovered, and there was an investigation, and they discovered that this was Elmer McCurdy, a robber who ended up becoming a traveling corpse. On April 22nd of 1977, Elmer's body was brought to the Boot Hill section of the cemetery in Oklahoma, and here he was buried under 2 feet of concrete to ensure that nobody would ever try to steal his body to use as an exhibit ever again. After he was buried, there was a funeral held and over 300 people came. That's a lot. Oh no. My battery's gonna die. Hold on. Alright guys, I hope it doesn't look too different. I just charged my battery and hopefully this is cooled down now. Okay, some of it is still kind of hot. Oh yeah, so that's the end of the true crime today. It's honestly really sad that the most love that Elmer ever got was at his funeral, like 70 years after he died. Granted, he was a robber and he wasn't the best person in life, but I feel like he deserved more love. I think he would have turned out better if he at least had a little bit more love, you know? Alright, last bite of this and then I'll have a few more bites of that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I did. This food was delicious, and I always love doing true crimes and conspiracy theory videos. So definitely more to come. I think this is going to be my last bite. Alright, you guys, that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this true crime. Really makes you think twice the next time you're staring in the eyes of a wax figure. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and if you want to see more. And don't forget to subscribe. By the way, it's free. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.